Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am making a video about something I get a lot of questions about, and I did make a post on Instagram months ago, but since I have not been on YouTube, I thought I would post about it here as well, and that is Jimmy James. A lot of people ask about us and how we met and who he is and what he does, and because we are very private, or he is very private, I don't post a lot about him personally other than just like pictures and stuff. So today I'm going to tell you about our love story because I do think it's also a really sweet one, and because I love being in love and I like to share that with people. So I met James years and years ago, just through mutual friends. We have just kind of like a crew of us that we go out in Hollywood and like go have fun, and he was kind of loosely part of that crew. He is an audio engineer and he used to tour with bands. So when we met, he was actually working with Kesha, but he also works with Chromeo, and I don't know, he's worked with about 8 billion bands in his past. So he wasn't home a lot, so I would just kind of see him here and there with friends, and I always thought he was cute, but like never thought anything of it, obviously. And then we became friends. So I was going through a really bad bout of depression, which you guys know about since you, well, hopefully watch my videos up until now. If you haven't, check them out. A mutual friend of ours, Jasmine, was like, you should talk to Jimmy. He also has really bad depression and anxiety, and he's just like a really good sounding board, and he helped me through a really hard time. So I was like, cool, sweet. So we all went out one night and I just hit him up and we started talking, and we just became like super good friends super quickly. We had a lot of the same background family-wise. We were both in theater in high school. There's just like a lot of stuff and a lot of things that we had in common, and we just kind of became like besties, thick as thieves, really quickly. So my depression was still getting really bad, and kind of the rest of my life was falling apart, and I just felt like a lot of my friends had either disappeared, or a lot of my male friends were kind of presenting ulterior motives. And Jimmy was one of the only friends that I felt like was just like a solid friend. He was a solid buddy. If I was having a bad day or a bad night, he would be like, let's go for a hike, let's go to a movie, let's go get Thai food. There was one day, it was actually Easter, and it was a really hard day for me because it was a day I spent with family that I no longer had. And so I was really down, and I got a text that morning. It was just like, hey, what's going on? I'm having kind of a dark day. It was Jimmy, and I was like, me too. And he was like, come over, let's get Thai food. I was like, cool. So I literally, like, in my pajamas, I think I brushed my teeth and went over there, and I spent most of the day crying. He had an L-shaped couch, kind of like the one I'm sitting on right now. So he laid on this side and I laid on that side, and we just watched movies, and every now and then I would start crying and he would just come put his arm around me, and he was just like such a good person, and he got it. He was the first person ever with my depression that like didn't try to fix it. He didn't ask what was wrong. Like if I needed to talk, he was there. If I cried, he just put his arm around me. He was like the first person ever in my life that made me feel like I wasn't broken, and I felt, and not that anybody ever tried to make me feel that way, but so many people around me didn't understand, and the sort of fix it mentality always just makes you feel extra broken when you feel like, well, I don't need to be fixed. He just understood me. Then I became free to the world, and we were still just buddies, and we were going out a lot. He also likes to dance. He's a really good dancer. Oddly enough, he's like a tall, skinny white boy, and he has like the best rhythm, and he loves to go dancing, and none of my friends like to go dancing. So we would like every night of the week, we'd go to like hip hop clubs and goth clubs and 90s night, and like we were just like dancing. And it was great because it was just music and dancing, and there was no talking and there was no thinking. So we were just out one night, and he kind of laid one on me, and I was like, it was literally like just that fast. It was no make out. It was just, we were both drunk, and he just kind of like smooched me, and I was like, okay. And then text him the next day, and I was like, you can't kiss me again, you're my best friend, like I'm not ready for a relationship yet. And he was like, oh my god, you're so right, it was so silly, what are we thinking? And then the next time we went out, we kissed again. This time mutually kissed, not that it wasn't mutual the first time. And then the next morning I text him, what are we doing? We can't do this, we're gonna ruin our friendship, it's too soon, all of that. And then I think the third night it happened again, and I was just kind of like, well, I guess this is happening now. So it definitely snuck up on me. It was like the best punch in the face that I ever got when I kind of realized like, wow, yeah, this like makes sense. And it all was so natural. We already knew everything about each other. There were no skeletons in the closet. I had been there through all the years of him dating whatever girls, and he had been there through my past relationship stuff. So there was no like getting to know each other. And I think a lot of people were like, oh, move really fast. But for us, it didn't move fast because we already knew each other. Like all we had to do was fall in love. And that part of it happened quickly, but it's because we already had the foundation for our relationship as two humans built. Yeah, so basically that's how we fell in love. He just kind of pulled me out of a deep, dark well, and it just made sense. So here we are, almost 2 years later, and we now live together, and I couldn't be happier. I didn't know that a relationship existed where you didn't bicker all the time or fight all the time. I always just kind of thought that was like just part of being with somebody for a long time. Also, the chemistry, the attraction, like I just lay next to him, and even when he's stinky, like I smell him and I'm like, yes, like give me more of that. It's just, every day is exciting. He gives me butterflies every day. Not that we don't have our problems, like of course we do, but when we have an issue, we just talk about it. There's no passive aggressiveness. There's no aggressive aggressiveness. Like I'm a spicy little meatball, and he is a super mellow, chill, like he doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to yell. If I start poking at him, he's just like, okay. And then when he does that, I'm like, shit, I'm an asshole. And then it makes me like rethink my behaviors. We don't fight, we've never yelled at each other, we've never cussed at each other, which is like a really big thing for me in my life. So yeah, it's good. I'm really happy. I hope you guys have seen it in the last year or two of my postings that things have gotten better. My depression is not gone. It's definitely a lot more at bay, and when I do have those days, having like such a strong support makes it a lot easier. Yeah, so that is our love story. Thank you guys for watching and listening. I hope it wasn't an overshare. I hope I didn't put anything in here that's gonna make him be like, ooh, why are you sharing our private life? But he generally is fine with what I want to share about us. He just doesn't want to be the man in front of the camera, which totally get. It's not for everybody. But if you want to see more of our love story and more of a day-to-day basis, definitely follow me on Instagram, because I do post about him there. Not every day, but fairly frequently. And yeah, if you guys have an amazing love story of your own to share, please do in the comments below. I love reading other people's love stories, and I think it's also really important for people that are either in bad relationships, that are single and looking for relationships, or that are newly out of a relationship, to see that love exists. I didn't find mine until I was 36, and I feel like it's like such a strong, powerful love that I would have missed out on if I hadn't have made the decisions that I made up until this point. So don't give up. There's hope for you. Read all the happy stories below and keep the dream and the idea of love alive. I just farted with my hands. That's how excited I am. But that's it. That's all I got. Love to everybody.